Hello, and welcome to the Brown Breaks. So yeah, Swinburne. In fact, in the atrium, so they built this kind of space age material type thing, sort of linking the library. Linking the library. So let's just have a look. So here's so that's essentially the building, the library. In fact, you can see it says library there, I think. Yeah, it says library there. That's the library, and this is a separate building here. What is it? BA building, and so essentially a roof or some sort of space age roof using materials has been used to build an atrium between the building and the library. In itself, not a bad idea, but it just doesn't look very good. I don't know. What do you think? I mean, just doesn't look. I don't know. Just something about it. I think one of the problems is you've got this kind of the original building here in the background. So this is 1908. So it looks like the original buildings, in terms of, well, it started as a TAFE anyway, Swinburne. I think it's actually Swinburne University of Technology, and originally a TAFE. So I think it's the fact that if you're mixing a very kind of old, architecturally quite sound-looking building with something which is using some sort of space-age material, it just doesn't kind of mix. I think that's more to the point. That's just Barron's impression. I think it could have been done better. How you would have gone about it, I don't know, but I probably wouldn't have worried about this space-age material. Probably would have been quite expensive as well. But that's just, universities and, it's government. And so it's just bureaucracy and basically politics. Now, in terms of studying here, well, I probably wouldn't study here, no. I'd probably go for universities. Oh, table's kind of broken table. Yeah, it's not ranked in the top. I'd go for universities in the top 200. I think Barron made a post about this. So in Melbourne, yes, there's University of Melbourne. Fantastic. In fact, I think that probably ranks even better. I don't know about better, but it's probably ranks in the top 20, in fact, University of Melbourne. And that's, that would be the oldest in Victoria or in Melbourne. Obviously, University of Sydney being the first in Australia. We're talking probably over 150 years old now. But yes, there's University of Melbourne. There's Monash. I probably wouldn't. I don't know. Monash is sort of out at Clayton, not a particularly nice looking campus, but it's ranked. It ranks quite well. But there is RMIT. There is RMIT, which is ranked in the top 200. So, as a preference, no, I wouldn't go Swinburne. I don't know what Swinburne is. Probably over 300. Probably 3 something. Yes, Barron studied Swinburne in a PhD, but that's because, well, that's the supervisor. They had a sports statistics. But incidentally, RMIT, in fact, yes. So Steve Clark set up Swinburne. And again, he did a fantastic job. We had a number of students. But then RMIT, Anthony Bedford, incidentally, he wants to be called Ant Bedford. It's got nothing to do with Barron and his poetry or anything like that. He just wants to be called Ant. And he set up RMIT, and in fact, he did a fantastic job at RMIT. There was a number of students went through RMIT with PhDs. And in fact, I think before he set up RMIT, he applied for a position at Swinburne, and it was basically it was rejected, or he didn't get the position. It was given to someone else, and Swinburne admitted that was a mistake that they made on not bringing in Anne Bedford. So it's just political, and so yes, he basically he set up at RMIT, better university anyway. And he just killed it basically. Like, he just had a number of students. It's almost like Andrew Scott and his blackjack. He set up a blackjack. He was playing blackjack. He was playing blackjack, Crown Casino, and then he was saying that he sort of got banned or wasn't allowed to play. And then he was just saying to them, well, he's trying to cut a deal. He's saying, you let me play, I'll make $100,000 a year playing blackjack, Crown. Otherwise, I'll set up my own blackjack school, and instead of having one Andrew Scott, you'll have 100 Andrew Scotts, and this time we won't get caught. And yeah, so they didn't actually agree to his $100,000 deal, and he did set up his blackjack school, and he just ripped it up. He had people making millions out of Crown Casino, but of course now they use automatic shuffling machines. So there kind of is no more blackjack in Australia. In fact, even globally, it's kind of difficult now with the automatic shuffling machines. But yeah, getting back to the universities, yes. So Swinburne. Then RMIT, and now La Trobe. La Trobe now have a master's. Yeah, you can do a master's of sports analytics. So Swinburne doesn't run a sports stats anymore since Steve retired. Anthony Medford moved away from RMIT. They don't have a sports stats. But now La Trobe's kind of the new kid. Well, when I say new kid, it's been around. And do they have students? I guess they got students. But more to the point is they got a course, a master's of sports analytics at La Trobe. Would I recommend La Trobe? Well, no, it's not ranked in the top 200, but if you were to do, say, research, you wanted to do specific masters of sports analytics or go and do a research project, whether it's masters, PhD, then La Trobe could actually be an opening. So if you sort of mean, so if you're doing undergraduate, choose top 200. Why would you choose, Swinburne when you could go to University of Melbourne anyway? So yeah, choose top 200. And research, well, it depends on the supervisor. It depends on whether the university is supporting, the research, which of course depends on the, what is established in terms of the research, in terms of a research unit, and more importantly, whether the supervisor is going to support your project. So, yeah. But having said all that, I would probably preference. I'm actually for the idea of private universities over public. So yes, there's Bond University in Queensland. You might say, well, is that more expensive? Well, I don't know. How much is HECS now? And in fact, it's now indexed at 7%. So yes, you don't have to pay up front, but now I don't know. You do a calculation. So the cost of, I think you're looking at about $1,000 now per subject. So it could be 30,000. Would that be right? So let's say 8 subjects, 8,000 over 3 years, 25,000 as a minimum. I think medicine, law goes longer. It's going to be much more. Could be 100,000, and that is then indexed. That is indexed 7%, which you then pay off as you're working. So it could be 30 years. I don't know, before you even pay your HECS debt off, and you could be paying, I don't know, 3, 4. I don't know. You do the maths, but think how much you would be paying in total costs, given a 7% index on anywhere between $25,000 and $100,000, and that's for a public university. So why not just pay to go to a private? Do you have to pay up front? I don't know. Could you get a loan? I don't know, but I would preference a private, and I don't know, maybe US, maybe a private university, US, Harvard. Well, I don't know. You want to go the best, don't you? I mean, come on. Actually, MIT. MIT is actually the best. I think that's ranked 1, Harvard 2, Stanford 3. Yeah, they come in the top 3. So, but I think any university anyway in the US is going to be better than Australia. And preference, are they all private in the US? I don't know. Check that out. But Australia, top 200. If you were in Australia, and yeah, Bond I don't think is in the top 200, even though it's private. But I think the quality of teaching could be better. Also, the management's going to be better. It's just bureaucracy. Universities are just a bureaucracy, and basically politics. And because they're not profit making, so that's why you get a lot of politics. Yeah, in itself. And of course, yeah, Barron's been associated with 6 universities. Started Macquarie undergraduate, grad at UTS, PhD Swinburne, and then an adjunct Swinburne, then an adjunct VU Victoria University. Complete disaster. I think they're ranked, I don't know, they could be ranked 700 plus in terms of rankings. And yes, they did bring in the Institute of, in fact, they changed their branding. So they brought in the Institute of Sport. They called it ISEAL. I thought this was actually quite good. Institute of Sport, Exercise, and Active Living. And so they were trying to combine, they were saying that exercise science is somewhere between, sort of sport and active living. I thought that was sort of quite good, and they weren't trying to promote this medicine, this medical or health, which kind of makes sense because they don't have medicine. But now they changed it to Institute of Sport and Health because they were trying to bring in the medicine side of things, and it's just a disaster. In fact, health and sport are not actually related at all. Athletes don't compete in sport to get healthy. They compete because they obviously want to win, and of course, and that's their job career. In fact, they become often when they retire. Elena Dokic, for example, that in itself can be a bit of a problem. So yes, avoid VU. They're also supporting the Western Bulldogs. Yes, the Western Bulldogs. Yes, they did win a premiership actually, 2016, I think. But yeah, but basically they are one of the worst. They've only won 2 premierships. They're one of the oldest clubs and only won 2 premierships. And yes, they did win 2016. I'll admit that. And of course St Kilda the worst. I don't know, 1960 was it? Worst club. And of course Jason Ackermanis. Remember on the footy show they had the falling out. They had Jason Ackermanis, one of the best football players, and I think they had the CEO of the Western Bulldogs. So it's just politics within the Western Bulldogs, which is a problem, and also coordinated with the university. It just complicates things. Universities having partnerships with industry will just cause conflicts and complications. If the Western Bulldogs want to improve the performance, well, why not just get the Baron? Why not just get their own in-house analytics team? That would be the best way to do that, and they probably do to some extent. But they're trying to use VU to somehow cut down, obviously, expenditure, but it just doesn't work. It just creates conflicts, and if you've got conflicts, you're not going to win anything at the end of the day. Although yes, they did win 2016 premiership. The best clubs, of course, Collingwood, Carlton, Essendon. What did they win? 16, and was it Richmond? And of course Carlton, Teddy Hopkins. Yeah, in fact, Barron met Ted Hopkins a number of times. He founded Champion Data, and Barron, and yes, I should mention Champion Data, probably the best. They are the official providers. They do the live scoring of the AFL, do the data analysis, and one of the best in terms of sports data, sports statistics, sports analytics, capture. So they have sort of capture analytics. And data feeds, and of course strategic games. Although strategic games is building, but it's certainly a very good site, but certainly the most successful in terms of business. Champion Data, founded by Ted Hopkins, and Barron wrote a number of pieces. In fact, they had an after hours column in the AFR, in the Australian Financial Review. And Barron wrote a couple of pieces or coordinated a couple of pieces for Champion Data. This was, of course, on tennis. This was going back a long time ago, and this was done through Ted Hopkins. In fact, I met Ted Hopkins a number of times, and when I was working on InfoPlum, he had this TED Sports or something, trying to concept he was trying to build. He also published a book, incidentally, as well. You might want to have a look at his book, and Barron met Ted Hopkins then as well. So yes, Ted Hopkins, he did some sort of degree, statistics business or something, and then founded. Yeah, to my opinion, if you can actually set up a business or a company which is successful, that is very difficult. Possibly more difficult than even doing a PhD. PhD just takes time, whereas setting up a business is very difficult. High amount of risk involved. Which was achieved by Ted Hopkins. So, and that's reflected on the Carlton Football Club as being a very successful club, something like 16 premierships, along with Collingwood. I don't know, Eddie Maguire. I don't know. You might criticise Eddie Maguire, but yeah, they're certainly getting they've won 16. I think they won more recently. Did they win last year? 23. Very good club. Essendon, very good club. And I think Richmond, check, you might want to check on that, but I think Richmond as well, also 16 or something, a premiership. So, or was that another team? I don't know. But certainly, yeah, Carlton, Essendon, and Collingwood. Successful. St Kilda, complete disaster. 1960, just hopeless. I don't know. I've got no idea what's going on. Was Jack Revolt, was he St Kilda? I don't know. But and of course Victoria University with the Bulldogs, complete disaster. Avoid Victoria University. Anyway, they're ranked something like 700-800 anyway. They don't even support mathematics. They've got something in mathematics, but University of Melbourne, yes, University of Melbourne probably number one. RMIT very good, and Monash as well. If you want the top 200 rankings. Okay, so maybe we'll leave it there. And that was the Run Breaks. Holy disaster.